Ever since the hatching of the universe from its egg in the primordial soup that was the Big Bang, the collective consciousness of all that are and ever shall be pondered this forever and always. What exactly makes a game quirky? Now, like with all of life's many great questions of existence, there is no real definitive answer. It is up to us as humans to ponder the many possibilities for what the true answer could be. Sorry about that. I thought it would sound a bit more epic with that voice. Anyways, to be honest, I just kind of wanted to talk briefly about some games that I like that all happen to be quirky, so I hope you enjoy. If it's not your jam, then, I don't know what to tell you, broskadoodle-doo. Prologue. What makes a game quirky? If you use a popular search engine to Google the definition of quirky, you will find it described as characterized by peculiar or unexpected traits, so it is only fair to judge a game's quirkiness based on if peculiar or unexpected aspects are present in some manner, right? Well, most of gaming as a whole is itself based in quirkiness. Think about some of the most popular video game characters, such as Sonic Hedgehog, Mario Brother, and Dwayne The Rock Pikmin. They all have one thing in common. Being video guys? No! It's quirkiness. Think about it. Sonic Theodore Roosevelt Hedgehog is quirky because, well, he's a blue hedgehog who runs upright at supersonic speeds. Mario, Speed Brother, consumes the fungus and does not have a sister, the most peculiar and unexpected aspect of the video game character. And well, rock Pikmin are Pikmin made of rock and stone, which to any avid Pikmin player would know to be quite the oddity, as the Pick Carrot Men are known to be plant-based in nature. So we have to draw the line somewhere with quirkiness, because if you really think about it, every video game is quirky. It's a quirky hobby. Chatper 1. Finding the quirky within the quirky. Nintendo is a quirky company that primarily makes quirky games. Practically every Mario game, or at least every good Mario game, is, to be blunt, fairly quirky in nature. The recently released Super Mario Bros. Wonder is a prime example of this. I mean, you can be elephants. You can be elephants. That's right, a whole ass heffalump. So if you're a Mario fan, you're by no means a stranger to the peculiar oddities amongst the games. And if you're a Mario fan, you probably know of, or at least have heard about, the Mario & Luigi and Paper Mario series of Mario RPG spin-offs, both even quirkier than the mainline series in their own spectacular ways. If you've never played them, Nintendo recently announced the release date for the remake of the best Paper Mario game, The Thousand Year Door, for the Nintendo Switch family of home video game consoles, so, play that.
And if you're looking for the Mario & Luigi games with a Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pass membership, you too can access the original Superstar Saga for the GBA through the Expansion Pass for Nintendo Switch Online.
Whoa, sorry about that. The cube-based higher-dimensional space lizard demon that haunts me, Veilnox Prime, just possessed me momentarily for the capitalistic purposes. Whoops. What was I saying? Oh, right. If you're a Nintendo fan, you're well adjusted to the quirky nature of the average Nintendo release. And don't go spreading this info around. But what if I were to tell you that there are Nintendo games that exist off of the Nintendo Switch that Nintendo doesn't often or ever re-release that get real quirky with the sauce? Okay, who here knows what a Chibi-Robo is? I feel like that's a good baseline, whether you've played Chibi-Robo or not. If you have neither played nor heard about Chibi-Robo, I'll do my best to explain. Chibi-Robo is a 3D action-adventure game for the GameCube where you play as a small robot friend known as, Chibi-Robo, and his whole purpose is to make people happy. So you go around exploring the environments, which are all different parts of the house, which is, for an adventure game, making the setting a common household from the perspective of a tiny robot, is genuinely extremely quirky, and I love it for that. I really want to tell you to go and play the game, but unfortunately, it is yet to be re-released and only remains available as a physical GameCube disc, which for a game that did not sell super well, that released on a console that didn't sell super well, nowadays, on the secondhand market, getting a copy will fetch a pretty penny. I suppose there are other methods, but the Dark Ones speak not of such manners, lest the Demon King be summoned once more. Chapter 2. A quirky angel's thesis. Speaking of things the Dark Ones don't want you to speak of, Mother 3, am I right, folks? If you don't know what Mother 3 is, it's the third game in the Mother trilogy, a series of quirky JRPGs where only 2 of them got localized into English, and the first game didn't get an official release until 2015, despite being an NES game from the 90s. Yeah! However, thanks to the wonderful work of the fan translation community, English players can experience what might possibly be one of the greatest RPGs of all time, or at least one of my personal favorites in the genre as a whole. Without spoiling any major plot elements, a basic plot synopsis of Mother 3 is that perhaps society could be improved a bit. Maybe. I know that doesn't really sound that quirky, but trust me on this. One of your party members is your dog, okay? And at one point, he wears human people clothing, just like a real man who pays real man taxes and goes home to his husband and kisses him sweetly.
Chapter 3!
Indies! Nuts! Lamau! Got 'em! I don't know how to transition out of that last bit, so we're just gonna talk about indie games now, if that's cool with you. Indie games, being games developed independently from major corporations or AAA publishers, usually made with a much smaller team and budget, have a tendency to be pretty quirky on the regular, which given the circumstances behind their creation only makes perfect sense. When you have fewer hands in the kitchen, the end result is bound to be a vastly more personal and imperfect one, with all the more charm. One of my personal favorite indie games is this game called Enter the Gungeon, a game filled to the brim with quirky absurdity, with so much love and charm it's damn near palatable by the human tongue despite being a digital file. Enter the Gungeon is a twin-stick shooter roguelike where you make your way through distinct floors with a randomized assortment of weapons, enemies, items, and bosses. No, it's just the placement of these things that are randomized. The designs and stats of everything is predetermined. The whole game is a love letter to gaming as a whole, and I could go on and on and on just about it, but to stick strictly to the quirkiness of it all, the game takes absurdity to a semi-literal level with some of its enemy and weapon designs. A common enemy in the game is a bulletkin, a sentient bullet-shaped enemy that shoots you with guns. It's a bullet that shoots you with a gun that shoots bullets at you. There's also these really great weapons in the game. There's a gun that's shaped like a bullet that shoots pistols that shoot bullets, and a shotgun shell that does the same thing, but with shotguns, and then there's also this gun that is just the lowercase letter R that's bullets are shaped like the letters of the word bullet, and there's also a beehive that shoots bees at your enemies, and I just think that's one of the best weapons in the game, S tier.
Chapter 4.
Sans Undertale, my beloved. I could've, would've, and should've just talked about Undertale during the part about indie games, but honestly, Undertale's cultural relevance in gaming as a whole is widespread enough that it felt warranted to just put it down as its own segment. Given that the character Sans literally has a Mii costume in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, I think it's safe to say that Undertale is one of the defining games of the quirky games genre. But anyways, yeah, Undertale. If you don't know what Undertale is and also have made it this far into a video on quirkiness, how? Like, honestly, I'm impressed. I almost don't want to explain what an Undertale is then. Too much responsibility. I don't want to be the one to rip that band-aid off for you. Go! Pick up your Nintendo Switch, go to the eShop, wishlist Undertale until you can afford it, and then play Undertale. Very phenomenal game. Highly recommend. Okay, now that you have played Undertale, it's time to discuss the quirky aspects of it. I'm personally a big fan of Chapter 5! Now's your chance to
Hyperlink blocked.
Oh, Deltarune, my beloved, how I gleefully await the day of your completion, so I may bask mine eyes upon what it truly means to be quirky and peculiar. Truly. Unless the remaining chapters turn out to be subpar, but honestly, they've already given us
Spamton, G. Spamton,
the
greatest fictional salesman, 1997.
So I'm fairly content already. Deltarune is like Undertale, but better and more incomplete. They've only released 2 chapters of it in the form of a demo so far, so it's not a finished game, but goddamn, from what I've played, it seems very phenomenal. The soundtrack, the level design, the character design, the boss battles, ooh boy gamers, this is the game to look forward to. Once again, if you have not played Deltarune, go pick up your Nintendo Switch right now and download the demo. You would not be disappointed. Unless you hate fun or are also a booger and ugly and I hate you and you're not even invited to my slumber party, I'm calling your parents! Conclusion. Gaming is epic? I feel like I've pussyfooted about just the right amount in this video, avoiding the subject like a student in an English class after not having read the assignment and being called to read the synopsis to the class. I don't know what else to really say. I mean, gaming is based and being mad online is cringe, so if you have a problem about anything I said during this video, that's just like your opinion, and if you don't have a problem, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe!